Hi, I'm Magda from Interiors Exteriors. In this episode, we'll tackle a very controversial topic, as shown by previous videos, which is solutions for cats. We've already featured various cat solutions in our videos. Sometimes I discussed them, sometimes I just showed them, and there were also times when some of them sparked extreme emotions in the comments. That's why today we'll take a closer look at all of this and think about what cats need and also what we can give them. I'll also share my own experience, because I live with two sweet tomcats, Maruchek and Wengil, and soon we'll put together a big scratching post for them so they have a place to climb and spend their time happily. You can buy this scratching post along with many others in different sizes and with various accessories on AliExpress. AliExpress is the sponsor of today's episode, and now, between November 1st and 17th, there's a big shopping festival on this platform with huge discounts of up to 80%. The fact that there's a huge selection of products on AliExpress probably isn't anything new to you. However, I'm curious if you've checked out the pet section, because our kitties need lots of different toys and interesting accessories for our homes that they can use without worry. For example, they can scratch a scratching post without any problem, but our armchairs or sofas, well, I think you'll agree that's not quite the same. And here, you might want to pay special attention to those scratching posts that you can hang on your furniture to protect it. Giving cats the opportunity to fulfill their needs. Personally, I find those shelves you can hang on windows especially adorable. I know that my kitties love spending time on windowsills and watching what's happening outside, and the higher they can be, the better the view and the more they enjoy it. That's why I think a shelf you can hang on the window will definitely appear in my home as well. But for now, we're assembling the scratching post. My cats already had a scratching post before, but it was much smaller, and when I was recently a foster home for a cat family and had a total of 10 kittens, seriously, I'm not making this up, it turned out that the scratching post wasn't as big as I thought it was before. And in the end, all the cats couldn't fit on it, even though they tried, and it was really adorable. Many people say that scratching posts don't work for them, that their cats don't want to use them, and the scratching post just stands unused in the corner. And I think that's the key part, in the corner. I noticed that as long as the scratching post was off to the side, my cats weren't very interested in it. But when I moved it to the places where the cats like to spend time, now there's hardly a day when the cats aren't lounging on it. I know that many people are worried about long delivery times when shopping on AliExpress, but keep in mind that a lot of products are shipped from Poland or Europe, and then the delivery time is between 2 and 5 business days, just like from a regular store. The scratching post arrived to me really quickly, and assembling it is going almost as quickly, because the instructions are very clear and each part is properly labeled. Each part has a letter assigned to it, so it's easy to find what is what, and nothing is very difficult. And it was difficult, and it was very difficult. And it was really difficult saying Vinok balance, and it was really Vinok balance. Treaty, free treaty. As you can see, they've already found their favorite spots and are enjoying the view from their favorite perspective. Awareness about how to take care of cats, what their needs are, what's better or worse for them is growing, and that's really great. However, it's not a black and white topic. It's not like you either meet all the criteria and everything is fine, or you don't meet them and then it's a disaster and the end of the world. I myself have indoor cats. I definitely don't let them outside, and they also don't really have such ambitions. Even though they're rescues, they definitely feel best at home, and every trip to the vet or attempt to take them for a walk just ends up being very stressful for them. That's why we don't try anymore, but of course sometimes you still have to go to the vet. And imagine that when we're at the clinic and I take off the top part of the carrier, the cats lie down really low so they don't even stick out of the bottom part. They seem better off. The cats lay as if in trenches. When the doctor takes them out, of course they're out for a moment, but they're very eager to go back and settle into that hidden position again. These cats really are just like me. Apparently, cats become similar to their owners, and I really feel like a homebody, so it's just adorable for me to watch how attached they are to the space they live in. But sometimes they should be able to get some fresh air. I installed a net on the balcony, and actually for half the year, our balcony is basically open all the time. Installing the net wasn't easy because it's not a covered balcony, so I didn't want to do it myself. This construction had to be stable, and since I didn't have experience, I didn't want to take the risk, so I just outsourced it. And it was one of the best investments I've ever made. I really appreciate the comfort of knowing that the cats can go outside, and I don't have to stress about them eventually attacking one of the birds flying around here. And I also don't have to worry that a flower pot will fly off the balcony during a storm and hit someone on the head. Everything is simply protected. My kids are older now, but if they were younger, I would also choose to put up a net, precisely to minimize the risk of any accidents. Because even though it's obvious that you have to watch out yourself, we also know that life can be unpredictable, and we can't be perfect 24 hours a day. Another important safety measure for cats at home are window grills, which prevent the cat from getting into the gaps when the window is tilted open. Unfortunately, such accidents are common and very dangerous because when the cat gets stuck in that gap, trying to get out, it slides down and gets squeezed more and more, which is not good for its internal organs. I won't go into details now, but it's really a very, very, very bad situation. I wouldn't wish that on any cat. But I'll be honest with you, even though I know the risks, I haven't decided to install those grills myself. It's still a bit overwhelming for me. And on the other hand, I hardly ever open my windows. I'm not the kind of person who airs out the place a lot. Quite the opposite. So I didn't feel like it was such an urgent issue. And of course, I can add that I always close the windows before leaving the house. I never leave the cats alone with a window ajar. And even that video about the wasp nest that formed outside the window shows that I really don't use my windows much. However, no matter how careful we are, accidents can always happen, so it's better to be safe. It's simple. Not doing something doesn't mean it's right. Sometimes it's the opposite. That's why I strongly encourage you to secure your windows, and I think sooner or later I'll do it too. Litter boxes are another controversial topic. And generally the recommendation is to have one more litter box than the number of cats. So if you have 2 cats, you should have 3 litter boxes. For 3 cats, use 4 litter boxes. For 1 cat, 2 boxes are ideal. If needed, use as many litter boxes as cats. For example, 3 cats need 3 boxes. But that's just in theory. In practice, there are often fewer litter boxes. For a long time, I had only 1 litter box because my cats are brothers, and there were never any problems between them. They were used to doing everything together. So it's a bit different than when we're socializing cats with each other. However, as I mentioned earlier, I also serve as a foster home, and then making sure that all the cats feel their needs are met, that they don't have to compete for access to the litter box, that no one will surprise or attack them in the litter box becomes more important. Then the number of litter boxes at my place increases. Currently, I decided to keep 2 litter boxes permanently because one of them is in the bathroom where the door tends to close a bit. And sometimes it's easy to forget that the door should be left ajar and just close it. So to avoid the risk that the cat suddenly won't have access to any litter box, I decided it's better to actually have the litter boxes in 2 different places. One of my litter boxes is a covered one, and my cats have no problem using it. What's more, even though the other litter box is open, I feel like they actually use the covered one more often. And of course, the theory is that cats prefer open litter boxes because they can escape in any direction, they can observe what's happening around them, and they feel safer. And of course, I don't question that at all. However, if a cat doesn't feel threatened at home, feels safe everywhere, and hasn't had any traumatic experiences, then even in that scary closed litter box, it can feel comfortable. It all simply depends on the cat. And here we move on to the solution I showed you, which is a litter box closed inside a cabinet. Interestingly, the litter box that caused such strong feelings is actually quite good for a closed box, as it has entrances on both sides. And when one cat enters through one entrance, the other cat that's inside can escape through the other. This is definitely not a solution for every cat, and it can be a difficult option for cats that are just getting to know each other when we're socializing them and introducing them to one another. In that case, this shouldn't be the only litter box the cats have available. However, if these are cats that the homeowners have had for a long time and they know their habits well and understand how the cats react to different solutions, then making a litter box like this can definitely be okay. And why is it that we even push these feline boundaries a bit and check whether the cat is able to accept a solution that isn't the ideal one? Because we also have our own boundaries, and we don't necessarily want to have litter boxes in plain sight. We don't always want to walk on cat litter, and we don't always want this to be such a visible element of our home's furnishings. We know that these litter boxes have to be somewhere, but the more out of the way they are, the less we see them, the better it often is for us. So it's about finding a solution that is satisfying for both cats and people, an optimum. And of course, this optimum will simply look different for different people. Some people are fine with litter boxes being visible in places like the living room, but there are definitely people who are totally not okay with that. And there are cats who are totally fine with using just one closed litter box. Some cats need multiple litter boxes in various locations. This situation doesn't have to be permanent. It may happen that a cat was fine with one litter box and then something happens, or the cat gets sick and you simply need to add more litter boxes. We need to be good observers of our animals and simply respond to what is happening with them. Another controversial topic is cats being up high. When I was recording a video in my kitchen, the cats were interested in what I was doing and jumped onto the counter appearing in the video. And in the comments, some people made it very clear that such a situation is totally unacceptable to them. In my case, the situation in the kitchen is specific because it's a tiled countertop that's quite old and I don't put food directly on it anyway. That's why, for me, it's a bit like the floor, so it doesn't really serve a hygienic function for me. So it doesn't bother me that the cat walks on it. And it's the same with cats jumping on the table or the bed. They go everywhere they can squeeze in, and I don't have a problem with that. However, a lot of people try to teach cats not to jump on the kitchen counter or the table. And I know that some people even manage to do it. And indeed, when those people are in the kitchen, the cats don't go on the counter at all. However, when the cats are left alone at home, it's a different story. And sometimes paw prints on the counter show that the cat only listens when we're watching. Because it's in a cat's nature to explore their surroundings and climb higher, cats really like being in that elevated position. And that's why it's great to satisfy this feline need by setting up tall scratching posts or installing shelves on the walls, so cats can jump around and lounge on them, watching the whole room from above. Cat wall installations have already shown up in our home tours, and honestly, I wanted to add shelves for cats at my place too, but I just can't find a good spot since every wall is already occupied. So for now, my cats have to settle for a tall scratching post and jumping on the furniture. But when I finally install the shelves, I totally dream of having one that's glass with a semicircular bottom. So when the kitty lies on it, you can watch its squished fur and paws from below. Honestly, it's just so cute. Tall and short scratching posts, tunnels, shelves, ladders. All of these are solutions for cats that are worth looking into, though not necessarily all at once. Because I think it's also nice for our cats that different things gradually appear in the house. They're a new element to enjoy now, to get familiar with, and thanks to that, their life isn't so monotonous. A cat-related topic that I think is still rarely discussed is the topic of water for cats. Bowls are often placed together, a food and water bowl side by side. And the thing is, cats don't really want to drink from the same place where they have their food. Apparently, they associate it with the idea that the water will be contaminated by the food, and they definitely prefer to drink from water bowls that are placed somewhere else. I have mine on the windowsill in the kitchen, which makes it easy for me to fill with water because the sink is right next to it. Sometimes I put water bowls in various places. Similarly, sometimes I hide treats for the cats in different places around the house. And for me, sometimes it's just dry food because the cats usually eat wet food from a can, and I keep the dry food as treats to give them after playtime or to hide around the house, so they have the motivation to keep discovering our home over and over again, because you never know what you might find on any given day. And finally, there's one more topic I'd like to talk about, which might not be a solution for cats, but I think this knowledge isn't very common, so I'd like to share it with you. Cats don't always want to be petted. And to find out if they want to be petted, we can offer them our hand to sniff. And if the cat starts rubbing against it, that's a sign they want to be petted. But if they turn their head away, it means that this time they don't want to be touched. Maya shows this really well on her profile Meditating Cat. So be sure to check out her reels, because in everyday life, it's true that while cats can really cross our boundaries and lie on our hands when we're typing on the keyboard, we as humans also often cross their boundaries. We pet them when they're sleeping. We pull at them when they don't want to be touched. You know how it is. That's why it's important to be sensitive to this, to be careful, and to teach our children the same. And now, let me remind you about the big promotions from the sponsor of our episode, the sales platform AliExpress. Be sure to check the link in the description. I hope you're already subscribed to wnetrzazewnetrza. Leave a thumbs up and see you in the next episode. And be sure to share your experiences in the comments. Bye!